Imagine that making one of the largest purchases of your life and you have no idea what are the important questions to ask. Well, that's what we see couples do almost on a daily basis. In your initial online contact with any wedding professional, what are the three crucial pieces of information that you need to give them? What is the one term that will discourage quality vendors from considering or responding to your requests? As you embark on this enchanting journey towards your wedding day, remember that the relationships you cultivate with your vendors can greatly impact the success of your celebration. Furthermore, as you spend your time researching wedding planning with online communities and social media, remember, approach your initial wedding vendor communications with clarity and respect. In fact, this will not only set the stage for a seamless collaboration, but also pave the way for a magical event that reflects your unique love story. Thanks for joining us. Hi, I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions.
Hi, I'm Heidi Hanson from Heidi Hanson Photography, and I'll join the conversation today and explain how to interact and book vendors online, plus answer your questions. This and more in today's edition of Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of our podcast. Hi, I'm Sal from After Hours Events in New England. Listen now and discover how to plan your dream wedding without the stress. How to book vendors online. These are wedding insider secrets for a stress-free, fun, and memorable day. Our podcast helps engaged couples navigate wedding planning complexities while addressing family expectations. We'll guide you through the journey of creating the perfect wedding day without unnecessary stress. By the end of this edition, you'll get concise tips on budgeting, wedding party management, ceremony, reception planning, and more. Perfect for anyone planning a wedding, all in 30 minutes or less. Trust us, you don't want to miss this.
Welcome to Stress-Free Wedding Planning, the podcast that will transform your wedding planning journey from chaotic to enchanting. Sal and Sam bring over 80 years of combined wedding expertise and exclusive insider information to the table. If you're recently engaged, feeling the pressure of wedding planning, struggling with family expectations, but still dreaming of a joy-filled wedding, you've come to the right place. Get ready to unveil the best-kept wedding secrets, discover practical tips and strategies, and learn life-changing lessons for a stress-free wedding. Your unforgettable wedding day awaits. We're here to take you on a transformative journey of love, laughter, and memories. So don't miss out on the podcast that just might change your life. This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
On today's edition, planning your dream wedding without the stress, how to book vendors online. We'll explain how to make your initial vendor inquiry stand out, plus what details should be included in your first message to prospective wedding vendors. Hi, I'm Sam from the award-winning Atmosphere Productions, wedding entertainment with expert knowledge and the difference in quality. Visit us at atmosphere-productions.com. Learn more about our experience and the journey to help you with stress-free wedding planning in the trailer or pilots of this podcast.
It's important to interact with wedding vendors online and know how to show respect for the vendor's time during the planning process. Hi, I'm Sal from After Hours Events in New England, the experts in creating a stress-free, unforgettable wedding experience. We bring energy, professionalism, and passion to making every couple's big day truly special. Visit us at afterhoursevents.com. Today's edition is all about planning your dream wedding without the stress. How to book vendors online. Talented wedding professionals will help transform your wedding vision into a reality, ensuring every detail aligns perfectly on your special day. However, effective communication is key to nurturing these relationships and making the planning process enjoyable. With our practical advice at your fingertips, you'll be well equipped to navigate the world of wedding planning and transform vendor interactions for simple transactions into meaningful partnerships. Now, we'd like to welcome our special guest, Heidi.
Hi, I'm Heidi from Heidi Hanson Photography, specializing in weddings, couples, and boudoir photography, serving New England and beyond. You can find me at www.HeidiHansonPhotography.com.
Welcome, Heidi. We thank you again for joining us. Heidi is an old friend of our podcast. Let's dive deep and ask you one of the most important questions. What are some essential tips for clients to connect with wedding vendors That'll help make their planning process so much easier.
So the best tip I can give you is to be as direct and honest as possible. What's your date? Where's your venue? What's your budget? All of those little details will really help you get that first impression with your potential wedding vendors.
So first impression is very important then.
Absolutely. It sets the tone for the beginning of the relationship and how you want to proceed.
You know, a lot of couples sabotage what they're trying to accomplish by using certain words they shouldn't say or certain phrases. Let's talk about those words and phrases. What should they stay away from, Heidi?
I would definitely stay away from doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It's a little offensive when we get requests like that because this is our livelihood. This is our full-time job. We know what it takes to run a business, the cost of insurance, equipment, all of those things that a couple may not even consider when they're asking these types of questions to vendors.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. There's a lot of couples out there who do not know the expense of doing business and going with someone who is really in business and not someone who's just like a bedroom DJ or someone who's doing photography on the side just to have fun. There's so many costs there. We know about them. They don't. Yeah, they easily fall into that trap. So is there any other key words that we should be staying away from?
I would definitely avoid cheap but quality, or doesn't break the bank. Those are all things that your vendors don't want to hear right off the bat.
It is crazy that couples doing the research for their wedding, the first thing that they want is something that is cheap. And we all know that the cheapest thing is not necessarily the best. Do you want a cheap wedding or do you want the best wedding? Most couples are going to say they want the best wedding. So why in your communications are you looking for the cheap? Everybody's on a budget. So the wording budget friendly doesn't mean anything because what is Sal's budget is different from what Heidi's budget is and is different from what my budget is. Those phrases are some of the phrases that will make me as a vendor run the other direction. I don't even want to reply back to a client who sends me an email with any of those words in.
Absolutely. And the bottom line is you get what you pay for. So if you're not willing to spend the money, it's going to show on your wedding day.
Now, just as a reminder, you can join us on our YouTube channel. Just search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam. Subscribe and get it first. Now, to continue in our discussion, instead of focusing on just the cost, you want to shift your attention so that it's not the first thing that you mention in an email. And you have to be direct and give proper information. So before you even ask any of those budget-friendly, won't break the bank, don't cost an arm and a leg, there are 3 pieces of information that you need to give every vendor. What are those, Heidi?
Your wedding date, the time and number of hours that you are looking for, and your location.
And why is that important?
Date is huge because the vendor needs to know if they're already booked that date and if they have it available. Time will help them come up with a quote to send you, the number of hours that they need. And location as well. Have they worked there before? Do they need to build in any travel fees? All of those things are super important when you're reaching out to your vendors.
This is one of the biggest mistakes I find most couples making, not knowing what they really truly need. There's a facility that I work with that you could go in there at 3 o'clock to set up and you have to be off the grounds by 11 o'clock. So what does the couple say? Oh, we're going 3 to 11, but they're not. The way it works is it's actually 5 to 10 there. So if you give me this big span of time, the price is going to look a lot bigger than it should. So knowing the exact times you need something is very important. So you're getting the price that makes sense for your event. And you're not going to get this inflated quote where you could have the best professional, best vendor in the world, but because they gave you this high quote, you looked away from them, but it's because you gave them the wrong information. So it's important to know what's the actual times of your wedding? What's the beginning time and what's the ending time? That's what we really need to know. And if for photography, obviously, is when do you want to start, how early before the event, and when do you want them to end at the event? So these are just very important pieces of information. So Heidi, should they be including their budget range right off the top so we kind of have an idea of what we're working within? Knowing the specific services they're looking for, is that important?
Yeah, absolutely. The budget is super important because it It lets you know already how many, for photography, for example, how many hours you can do within that. For services, do they want another photographer? Are they also looking to add video to the services? So any information that you put in that initial email will be super helpful and help with the communication between you and your prospective vendors.
And speaking about communication, let's get your social media details there, Heidi.
Absolutely. So my website is www.heidihansonphotography.com. Facebook, Heidi Hanson Photography, and Instagram at Heidi Hanson Photo.
We've just explained the power of first impressions, the art of effective communication, what phrases need to be avoided, and how to be direct and informative, and why words matter.
Coming up next, why doing your homework is paramount. Also, learn about building lasting relationships. But first, if you have a question or concern, go now to Facebook and join us on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning community and ask away. You can also join us on our YouTube channel. Just search for Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam. Subscribe and get it first.
This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam, a podcast for engaged couples concerned about wedding planning and family expectations, but who want a stress-free, fun, and unforgettable wedding.
Now it's time for our listeners' favorite segment. It's Wedding Tip Wednesday.
On today's Wedding Tip Wednesday, give them 30 minutes. Tell your wedding party to be 30 minutes earlier than they should be. Hopefully, this will help keep them on time.
Oh, you always know those friends are always late to everything, so it's very important to kind of lie about the time. So you want to make sure, especially if you're having your ceremony, you want people there earlier than normal. So you know what that time is. It may be 30 minutes. That's the generic timing. Sometimes you got to tell people an hour before, just so everyone is ready when they're supposed to be. And that's another wedding tip from Sal and Sam.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is available on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group page every Wednesday. Join the group for free.
Heidi Hanson Photography. Fun, happy, a little unorthodox, sometimes silly, with lots of candid. Hi, this is Heidi from Heidi Hanson Photography. www.heidihansonphotography.com. I like being goofy with my couples, making them laugh, and overall just having a blast on their wedding day. Every wedding day is different, and that is what keeps my job super awesome. I service Connecticut and New York. You can find me on www.heidihansonphotography.com and also on social media.
Experience the magic of your special day with Fitzner Productions, a premier wedding videography company based in Middletown, Connecticut. FitznerProductions.com. Our mission is to capture your love story candidly and authentically, creating stunning, high-quality videos that you can cherish for years to come. Our founder, Carson Fitzner, combines technical expertise with a passion of storytelling, ensuring every moment from the excitement of getting ready to the heartfelt ceremony is beautifully documented. We offer a range of customizable packages, including drone footage and multi-location shoots, tailored to fit your unique vision. Let us help you relive the romance, laughter, and tears of your wedding day. Visit FitznerProductions.com. That's FITZNER Productions.com.
Welcome back to our discussion all about planning your dream wedding without the stress, how to book wedding vendors online. Hi, I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions.
Hi, I'm Heidi Hanson from Heidi Hanson Photography, specializing in weddings, couples, and boudoir photography.
And I'm Sal from After Hours Events in New England. We've already discussed how to be direct and informative and why words matter. Now it's time to do your homework. Heidi, does that help your planning?
Absolutely. Researching vendors is a huge part before you even reach out to them. Check out their socials. Are they still active? If you're on those boards on social media, really dive in and check out their Google reviews, their reviews on Zola, or all those other websites. Talk to other couples who have used those vendors face to face and figure it all out before you even send a blank email to a vendor.
Isn't that crucial, though, that they should do the homework? Many couples just send emails to 20 or 30 vendors hoping to get a response back that they're the cheapest or the least expensive. How about finding out what they do? Are they the best at it? Are they any good? I mean, there are a lot of scams out there, and doing your homework really, really will make that difference. You also want to build a lasting relationship. Now, even though you may not book the vendor, believe it or not, building a relationship with some of these vendors online and social media in communities, on Instagram, wherever, is going to help you in the future because vendors love to give information. I mean, why do you think we're doing a podcast? We love to give clients that are interested information. So by approaching your vendor with the right communication, you can build that relationship. Hasn't that happened before with you, Heidi?
Absolutely. If I'm booked already for that day, I'm happy to send them other referrals. If they do book and they're looking for a DJ or a videographer or hair and makeup, I'm happy to share that information with people that I've worked with before that are highly regarded in the industry.
So Heidi, what about listening to vendors' suggestions when you're starting to have that conversation with certain vendors and they give you suggestions, give their professional opinions? How important is that?
Oh, it's so important. Typically, our couples have not been married before, so they really don't necessarily know 100% what a wedding entails, other than if they've been a guest. So any information that we share with them is only to make their day more successful.
I've had some couples who've coming through with a second marriage. And it's okay, you did plan a wedding once, but not every wedding is exactly the same. You're not going to have the same experiences all the time. Listen to your vendors and their professional opinions. Things may have changed quite a bit since that first wedding. So why don't you take a listen and maybe you'll get some information that's going to be really helpful for you.
And like you said, every wedding is different. So maybe their first wedding was this grand affair and maybe now they just want a micro wedding. So we have a lot of information and we're happy to share it with everyone.
One of the reasons that many first-time couples don't know what to ask is that price is just the first thing that comes to mind. And that's one reason why we're doing this podcast, that price is not necessarily the very first thing that you could mention. That's why listening to your vendors is so important, because they will tell you things that you probably have never thought about as far as it comes to planning your wedding. So before getting that communication out, before getting that email out, as Heidi said, do your research and all that. But also don't ghost your vendors. Heidi, why is timely communication so important?
I hate being ghosted. Yeah, it's very frustrating. So it's okay. We get it. Not everyone's a good fit. We understand. You found somebody else you love. That's totally great. Just let that vendor know, hey, look, I booked somebody else. It's okay. We're not going to be mad. Maybe a little bit, but not really. It's okay.
Yeah, that's just so important. The couples out there always make comments about how they've been ghosted and how they felt about that. Well, guess what? We feel the same way when you ghost us. We just want that common courtesy. Let us know, hey, you booked someone else. Great. I'm not for everyone. You found someone that fit you. And that's important to me. I want someone that fits you too. So please just let us know so we can move on and, everyone's happy. So something Sam and I have always said is the internet is voodoo sometimes. You might think you're getting ghosted, but you may not be getting ghosted. They may have sent a reply email. It might be in that spam folder, or it just got blocked altogether. So there's so many different ways to communicate. A lot of companies accept text messages now. Text them also. Or if you have to give them a quick phone call, and if you don't reach them, leave a voicemail. And you'll usually find out if they're ghosting you or not from that point. They may have just not seen the way you sent that communication. And now you just need to go a different direction to make that connection. So Heidi, after the wedding, why is feedback so important?
Feedback is super important. When we're getting ready to send out our galleries, we always want to know if how we did, and so we always request reviews after online, because that just makes us know how we did, what we could do better. And it's just super important to maintain that relationship, to just be honest.
Yes, I agree, Heidi. The feedback is definitely important. It's also good for us to use that feedback to improve our services. Now, investing time and effort into building a relationship with the different vendors is important. There's 4 key elements that should be mentioned so you get a strong vendor relationship. One is that you can access higher quality services. So if you have a good relationship with the vendor, you may be able to get upgraded services. They may be able to be flexible with their terms and conditions and maybe give you a discount. You also get priority treatment during the busy wedding season. And you also get the valuable insights and recommendations from other vendors that Heidi mentioned before. Do you use things like this in your business? Heidi, when you have a client that you really love and they've given you all the right information and they just seem like a great client to work with?
Absolutely. You know, all those couples that I super click with, like I will respond to their text messages late at night. I will offer them, you know, maybe a discount on a boudoir session or a longer engagement session. So absolutely.
So, yeah, I always say, look, by the time your wedding happens, we're going to be friends. And I think that's very important too, to be very close to your couple and to make them feel very comfortable going into the event. And just going back to earlier in this edition, we talked about certain keywords to stay away from, and you want to, because you want to create a nice relationship with every vendor you're working with. So stay away from cheap, your best price, arm and a leg. These are things you need to stay away from. Be friendly, and the vendor should be friendly back to you, and you'll end up with a great relationship afterwards. And I got to tell you, we have couples that we're still friends with well beyond their wedding. And we get to see every once in a while at other weddings because they recommend us so highly because we ended up with that relationship. So, Heidi, I just need it one more time from you. What are your social media?
Sure. Facebook is Heidi Hanson Photography. Instagram is at Heidi Hanson Photo, and website is www.HeidiHansonPhotography.com.
So there you have it. We just provided some insider tips on planning your dream wedding without the stress. How to book vendors online. Your wedding day is one of the most important days of your life, and the vendors you choose to play a crucial role in bringing your vision to reality. By avoiding providing clear and comprehensive information and approaching your vendor relationship with respect and professionalism, you'll set the stage for a successful collaboration.
Start implementing these tips today as you reach out to your wedding vendors. Watch as your vendor relationships transform from mere transactions to powerful partnerships dedicated to making your wedding dreams come true. Happy planning, and here's to a beautiful celebration of you. Need more ideas? Find out more. Ask a question or tell us about your experience in our Facebook community.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sal, or our community of stress-free engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, then join us in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group.
Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track or if there are some things you need to work on. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition, or go to Facebook and search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
Remember to do something nice for someone today. And if you can't, then do something nice for yourself. If you've enjoyed what you've just heard, leave a review and share it with a friend or someone who would benefit from this information. Until next time, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
Thank you for listening to this edition. A new edition is released every Wednesday. Subscribe and get it first. We'll catch you then. Ciao.
The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast is produced and copyrighted by Atmosphere Productions in association with After Hours Events of New England.